Hello, I'm back. Penny here with a video after quite a while of not having made one. And really, folks, it's just that I'm so slammed at work. It's kind of nice to take a break from watches, sort of. I mean, you know, can watch addicts really ever take a full break? I've been trying to do a little bit less of consuming social media and, you know, including YouTube, just because I've been so busy at work, and it does help to take a step back from the hobby. I think at times it keeps me a little sane and helps me, you know, calm down the collecting. So I wanted to jump on and just film a little bit of a reaction or review of wearing the Sub 41 for 1 month solid. I've had the new Submariner 41 without the date, the let's see, the 124060, and so I've had it without a date, and I've had it for about a month, a little more than a month, because I got it in January and it is now March, and so I wore it for 30 days straight and didn't wear anything else. And let me tell you, you know, that particular rotation of 1 month on the wrist is, it can be a challenge, even when you love the watch and you're enjoying it. But it's really a fantastic, like, way to rediscover your own collection, because it's really the only watch on tap for me during that time. We don't have our other watches here, so I have to, when the month is over, go and get the next piece, which is the Black Bay 58 now. Sometimes we have two, depending on, you know, what what Empress is wearing. We might have 1 to 2 pieces between us that we do have on tap. But it really is a nice palette cleanser that can help you rediscover your collection when you really stick with one piece for a long time. So actually, the reason this is still here is because Empress is wearing it now. So I wore it for a month, and she's going to wear it for however long she wants to wear it. And she's been wearing it about 2 weeks now, I think, going on 2 weeks. And yeah, so what are my thoughts about the Sub? Is it still perfect? Do I still love it? Well, yes, absolutely. Especially since I haven't been wearing it. You know, I think by the end of the month, I was a little bit fatigued and really craving something else. But that's just like the watch addict's, you know, craving of wanting something new on the wrist. So it wasn't like getting bored with this necessarily. This could be your only watch forever, you know, just indefinitely. It wasn't that. It was just I craved something else on the wrist. And the next thing that you do put on the wrist, you're like, wow, you're amazing. You know, it really makes you appreciate the next watch. So do I still love it after a month of owning it and wearing it straight? Absolutely. I appreciate it even more now that I've had some distance and I look at it. I have it so far away because I'm trying not to show the serial number. I don't know what people can see on YouTube. Probably, I'm using an iPad, so probably it's not like that. It's not that great of a camera. I don't know how people do that without showing the serial number. But here, I could put my finger there and bring it in closer so you can see the beautiful no date Sub. And we got all kinds of glare with the overhead light and stuff there. But yeah, you know, the Submariner is great. It is. I'm happy that I got it. I'm happy that I got it without a date. It is a nice classic look. It is a little blocky. Like, it's definitely not as square as the previous gen, but let's see, even compared to the Tudor. So let me just show you this. This is a little light Black Bay 58 comparison to the Submariner. And let's see, let's rotate this, and you can see that it's so much more of a substantial piece than the 58. You know, this is what is it, 39 millimeters? I think it is 39 millimeters for the 58. And this is 41, or really like 40.5 on the Sub. If you can see, the differences are pretty substantial. You can see that the case really seems to taper a lot more, with the lugs kind of curving and being slimmer here, and then with them being kind of thicker and squarer. Even though it's not as square as its predecessor, on the wrist, depending on what else you have in your collection, it might still feel a little bit big. It is the modern Submariners are big. Let's just get that out of the way. They're big relative to their vintage counterparts or vintage inspired counterparts. They're big, right? They wear bigger. And then of course you have something like the new Clasp on the Submariner 41s, which is huge. It's like, you can see there the differences between the two, right? So that you have this one here, which is the new Submariner Clasp, really much longer than it was before and a lot thicker, I want to say. And then the Tudor. So it's night and day in terms of just the size. Look at how much bracelet you still have on the underside of your arm for the Tudor versus the Sub. And for me, this Clasp takes up most of the underside of my arm. It's not uncomfortable though. It is bigger, but it's not uncomfortable. So for me, see, it takes up most of it. It doesn't hang over or come around on this side, but it is thick. It takes up a nice sort of big chunk of it. And then on the wrist, it is a little bit, more substantial than the Black Bay 58. But I like it. I don't think that these two watches compare as much as I thought they would. The reason I wanted the no date was so that I can compare it to the Black Bay 58. And honestly, guys, these two watches have such a different personality. The Black Bay 58, here, I'm trying to get that out of the light. The Black Bay 58 is like the little cousin, but it's like the little cousin who is like a troublemaker or something. Like the cousin has got some pizzazz, some fire, in terms of the coloring and the gilt and you can definitely have both of these watches in your collection. A modern or a contemporary Sub and the Black Bay 58, they do not feel the same in any way, shape, or form, other than the fact that they're both divers with no date, right? They don't speak in the same language to me. And honestly, I probably prefer the size of the 58 and the shape of the case, but I really like the dial of the Submariner. I like the glossier dial with the white gold surrounds. I like them both. So if you're considering whether or not, if you already have the Black Bay 58, I think a lot of people will say, oh, when you get a Sub, you're going to upgrade and, you won't want the Tudor. I don't know if people think that, but it's just not true in my case. Like the Black Bay 58 is its own watch, its own identity. It feels very different on the wrist. It has a different attitude, especially this one. I can't speak for the blue one because I've never had that one, but I love this watch still, even though I have now, its big brother, or the big cousin or whatever, who is the more well-known, more iconic watch. Sure, you can have both, and they give you a different experience. So that's my little take on having both the Sub 41 and the Black Bay 58. Really apples and oranges, honestly. Like, it just doesn't feel like the same experience wearing them. So when I first got the Submariner, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. It's like my beloved Speedmaster that I love so much. And I love the simplicity. I love the dichromatic, color scheme of just two colors. Wow, why didn't I just end my collection with the Sub and the Speedy? Why not those two? Well, now that some of the glow has kind of faded from the experience, I will say that I like having some variety in a collection. The Sub is definitely a cornerstone in my collection now. But, things like the BL&R, I thought, hey, when I got the Sub and it was on my wrist and it just looked so cool, I thought I liked it better than the BL&R. That is no longer true. I've come back down to earth a little bit, bouncing down, I've come back to earth. And the BL&R is still probably, it's not my favorite because that's the Speedmaster, but it's like my second favorite watch in the collection. And, the Sub is maybe the third, I don't know. But I like the color. That's the point, is that the Sub without a date is amazing, but I do like a little bit of the attitude sometimes, a little bit more. And the GMT bezel with the two colors, really adds that. And the Jubilee bracelet, of course, it really takes it up a notch, you know, from the more conservative looking sub. So I love it, but I don't think it's better than any other Rolex, you know, that I have, or other sports Rolexes even. So that's my take on that. Do I still dream of a Kermit? Yeah, kind of. Like, remember, I decided, or I realized I wasn't in the running for a Kermit anytime soon. And so I went for the what was offered to me from the AD, the sub. And I still maybe would like to get a Kermit. Maybe, you know, I'm kind of backing down on that in a way, just as the collection changes a little bit here and there. But I will try, if I'm still interested in a year, even if it takes a couple of years, I'll try again for the Kermit if it makes sense. I think that green bezel and a date will give me enough of a different experience, so it's still a possibility. How has it been functioning and performing? I mean, it's amazing. For a while, it only gained 2 seconds for like the first 2 weeks. Not even the first week. The first week it was up and down. But after I had been wearing it for a little while, it was a while with only gaining like plus 2 seconds. I want to say like even 2 weeks. Every morning I would look at it, it was just 2 seconds ahead. Now it's kind of consistently gaining maybe 2 seconds a day, but it's still within specs, obviously. So, you know, that it's fairly accurate. It did have a weird quirk on the bracelet that I wasn't too crazy about, but this has resolved itself. And that is, it was very noisy. I don't mean rattly like this, like you could hear the clasp banging around. No, not that. It was just that whenever you held it or touched it, it was sort of squeaking. And what I realized was that these two links were kind of rubbing against each other, and it was making a nasty like squeaky, squeaky, squeaky sound. Like if I rubbed this like this, the bracelet was making like a squeaky wheel kind of sound. And I think it just needed to be broken in. It was brand new, and these links were kind of tight. And so it was just a weird squeaky sound. That's been resolved. It's a perfectly normal bracelet, and it's fine, you know, watch. There's no quality control issues that I can tell. A lot of people will complain about the sound that you can hear. I don't know if it's the rotor or a bearing, ceramic bearing, whatever they've done to these new movements. And I don't actually hear it on my sub. I hear it a lot more on the BL&R all the time, honestly. Like if I move my wrist, kind of jerk it around a little bit, the BL&R is noisy. But the sub 41, I know people maybe have complained about this. I don't hear mine. I don't hear it at all. I don't hear any noise in the movement, whether it's the rotor or, I don't know, a bearing or something. I don't know. I hear it for sure in the BL&R, and I even thought that was a problem, but now I know that it's kind of standard with the new movements. Anyway, no quality control issues as far as I could tell. It's been a dream. I wore it for a month. I felt like it was the right amount of time. The right thing to do with a brand new watch was to really wear it and sink in and attach to it. I was craving wearing something else, hence the Tudor, and I have a couple of watches. Now I'm probably going to rotate a week at a time just to get through the watches a little bit. And then I'll go back to, you know, a month on the wrist for something else. So it really was satisfying to wear for a month. It fit all the circumstances. I mean, I haven't gone anywhere. I'm wearing a hoodie and jeans right now. So I haven't gone very many places, still working from home. And that is a bit of a downside to owning a new watch, is that I'm not able to build those experiences outside the house. And, you know, it has no, it's a quarantine watch. It has no life outside of the home so far. So I'm fortunate in many ways for that to be the case, but it also means that I really haven't fully experienced the watch kind of in the wild. You know, I have played with the dogs and it's gotten dirty, and I've been able to wash it and clean it off. I love that about new Rolexes, modern Rolexes, that you could just, you know, obviously they're water resistant to a certain degree, shower with it, clean it off. It's so rinse and go, you know, kind of experience. And yeah, I still have love for the Black Bay 58. The Black Bay 58 and the Sub are perfect in the same collection. So that's just my quick little reflection. I want to do a review. I got a Bosphorus watch roll. So I might, it's kind of spring, almost spring, it's March, and we have to kind of check our watches, wind them all, make sure everything is keeping good time. So I might get them back from the bank and do some videos of our watches in this really beautiful watch roll that I got. We have another one coming in on order, because the watch roll, the spoiler alert on the watch roll is that thing is awesome. It's sort of, I know it's pricey, but the watches look so cool in it, and it's nice storing them in that. So I kind of wanted to do a review of that, and maybe we'll have some of our watches around to show off, you know, what the watch roll can look like with your collection. And oh, I'm probably taking I'm probably going to be taking delivery of a new watch tomorrow. So this crazy hobby, oh my gosh, there are stories to tell. But I'm going to leave it at that teaser for now. New watch is incoming. If all goes well, I will probably post to our Instagram or to YouTube. Maybe I'll take a few days to just enjoy it first. But yeah, this hobby is absolutely nuts. If you're thinking about a sub 41 and you can get one, go for it. Don't give it a second thought. It's a fun watch. I've enjoyed it, and I hope I will have many more years of wearing the sub 41 and building some memories with it. All right, take care.